So we have about 15 minutes before the equity open. I'm going to mark off a few what I think are pretty obvious points here. We have highs up here, range lows. This is making out to be a double bottom. We've got to break this, so I'm mostly focused right now right here. This is what we've been trading up against. If we can break this, we have a really nice gap between... it's breaking right now. So let's get a profile on here and see if we can't get a trade-off. Okay, so quickly, I want to get the order on first, and then we can talk about it.
Order pending.
If you take a look at this, we have, so this is a double bottom, and then we have this nice spread once we get outside of here up until the high, right? Now look how small our risk to reward is. So if I grab the risk to reward and we put a up, that's not what I wanted. Let's try it again. Let's say we enter there, we have our stop there. Look, our 2-to-1 is inside. 3-to-1 is going to be inside the high. So I'm saying that this is a swing, not because it's some big trend, but because it's likely that now that we've broken this, that we swing all the way across the range. So the question is, can we get into it? And we may not be able to. But if we can, I think that's a great trade to take before the open. All right, well, we're starting to get to a point where this trade may not make much sense. We've got about 10 minutes until the open, and you can see what's happening. It's just lifting up higher and higher, and the stop is getting bigger and bigger. So I don't know for sure if we're there yet, but I bet we're really close to not having this make any sense at all. Yep, and we're there. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel the trade. And that doesn't mean we can't put it back on, but what we need to have happen now is we've got to have the volume up here broken. And you can see all of this volume is basically in one fat line here. So I've got only 3 of the periods marked off, but if we just drag this over, see how that, look where we are. I mean, we're just dead on it. So we really need to see volume print up above this now. That would be better. Ideally, we want to have the CWAP now move up to this area, you know, somewhere up around 50. That would make for a better trade at this point. And we're printing volume outside, so that's good. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on here. We've got about 7.5 minutes before the opening bell for equities. So we traded to the high. We traded through it with a little bit of volume. Notice what's happening right now. We've got the sellers trying to push back into the range. If we find buying support here, that solidifies all of this as a key transition. We find buying support and lift back up. Then what that tells us is that one, we ought to see an expansion, right? I mean, that should be, we'll just be waiting for the buyers to initiate enough trade. But it also tells us that we don't want to trade all the way back down into this 48.50 area. You know, if we trade down here right now, I don't have enough, there's not enough structure here to want to take the trade. I need this to be, I need all the activity to be up above, let's call it here, 49.50. Right, that's where we've tested back to. If we start trading any lower than this, well, and we are. Anyway, it'll sort of negate all the work that was done over here, right? Or not the work, but everything that we are utilizing as a reference point If we trade down into 48.50, that's gone. So I don't have any logical way to put that together. I'd rather get this trade, somewhere up here where we are. Okay, look what happened. So we pulled down into the bottom edge of this, and now we're lifting back up and expanding. So it may not fare well for our trade, but it's still better than trying to come all the way back inside the range, right? So I'd rather this move up a little bit more, have our CWAP move up a little bit more, and we get to sort of readjust. We don't want to get into this trade until we start taking it on the right side of the range. And these are the kind of things that I really hope in all of these lessons, that's what's sinking in, is taking the time to think about the trade as it sits in the context of the market, rather than just saying, well, that's where the little blue line is, and you said to trade on the blue line and use the pink line as my stop. I've referenced it before. That's level one thinking. That's sort of the idiot's guide to trading, and it's why 95% of the people who try it fail. If you take a really dumbass approach to something, you're probably going to get dumbass results, right? So we need you thinking a little bit deeper. Put some of the pieces together. Don't just look at it as, well, it's a blue line and a pink line. It's not that it has to be that complex. You don't need to make it so complex that you can't do it, but you've got all this information on the chart. And look how nicely this is starting to come together, right? We really want this right around that 49.50, and right now we're at 49.25. I think we're going to go ahead and go for it.
Order pending.
Okay, let's get this up another tick, and there we are. We're right at that 49.50. Exactly what we were looking for.
Order filled.
All right, and we get the pickup there. Let's get our stop in the right place. Immediately go into risk and reward mode. Entry, stop, first target right up above. And we'll be looking for 53. Second target, 54.75. Final target, or the we hope target, 58.25. All right, well, let's look at how much our stop has improved. We don't seem to be making any headway on this yet, but now we are at 48.25 on the stop, so already reducing the risk significantly there. Got a 5-tick stop now, looking for this to start moving. 4-tick stop.
Target filled.
All right, first target taken out. Starting to rally a little bit here. Stop keeps moving. Down to just 2 ticks of risk. Coming up on 3-1.
Target filled.
All right, there goes our 3-1 target. And all that leaves is up above 5-1. We're going to keep jumping the stop up. Now, what's tricky about this this trade versus some of the other lessons that we've done is this one's moving very rapidly after sitting sideways for a while, which is good. That's obviously what we want. But we've been using these really nice structural transitions in the market to move our stop. So like if this was a good rounded high instead of a real sharp high, we could use that. This is a transition that we don't see very often. And having watched it live, it should make really good sense to you why it's a transition. But if it doesn't, let's go through it real quick. Right? We have the market break out of a high. So buyers initiating trade. Sellers try to stop the upward action. Buyers come back in, and look at the battle that goes on here between buyer and seller. Right? All of the clusters are overlapping. Right? So that tells me that this right here is a beautiful transition where the buyer and seller were really fighting, and eventually the buyer initiated enough trade to get through to the other side of it. So if we were in a situation where we needed to jump our stop because we felt like the VWAP was just not moving fast enough, the easiest thing to do here would be to grab a decision point, lay it on there, and go ahead and bring this up right across the node of heavy volume, right? So we could bring it right up there and be at 52.25. And let's see how far off we are from our target is just above us, so that's nice. And you know, the thing is that if the VWAP catches up because we start trading enough up here, and it goes further, then we can go ahead and follow the VWAP. But it's just a little bit of protection for us to not have to carry this all the way back down. Either way, we can't lose on the trade now. We've got nothing but profit on here, so beautiful. Okay,
Target
and there it
filled.
goes. That's 5-1 on the trade. So really nice breakout trade. Remember, trying to get it inside of the range, but couldn't do it. It just never came back, and before we knew it, we were on the other edge. Right at the equity open, we're able to pick this up, and look at it just scream out of there. What a great trade.